Hey guys, welcome back to Duder's David. Today we're going to be going over the differences in American soccer and English football. Now, I'm not really from the UK, but I'm trying to get in the English spirit for this video. Cheers, mate. This tastes like bloody rubbish. Ugh. Before we get started with this list, I want to ask everyone from the UK, what do you guys think about Jude Bellingham's retirement? He's only 20 years old. Don't you guys think that's a little bit young? I also heard another rumor that Wayne Rooney was Jude Bellingham's dad. Is that true? Let me know in the comments. Now we're getting started with the top 10 key differences between UK football and American soccer. The first key difference is the name. Now, I know that's the one you guys all want to leave your opinion on. Here in the US, we don't obsess over if it's called football or soccer. We just call it soccer. Like, we don't sit around spilling our tea and having a breakdown every time someone calls it soccer or football. We simply call it soccer because there's another sport in the US called football with the brown ball and people tackle each other. They're very different sports. If you're from the UK, what do you guys do when you hear someone call it soccer? Like, do you act like somebody just said 1 + 1 = 5? Let me know in the comments. Is it some mistake that needs to be corrected every single time it's made, or do you guys just kind of let it slide? There are some people in the US that call it football just because they're obsessed with the English/European football. Whether you call it football or soccer, it doesn't really matter. It's the same sport. So let's move on to the second key difference. The second key difference is the name of the footwear. In the US, we call these cleats. In the UK, you guys call them boots. If you say the word boots in the United States, most people are going to think that you're referring to cowboy boots or military boots or some sort of dress boots. In the US, we have a lot of different types of cleats. Soccer cleats, baseball cleats, football, rugby, there's a lot. And maybe even basketball and tennis. Oh wait, no basketball or tennis. Boots or cleats, it doesn't matter to me what you call them. The third major key difference is the name of the playing area. In the US, we call it a field. In the UK, it's called a pitch. We do say the word pitch in the United States, just the word field is way more common. Sometimes when we go to professional games, they'll let kids go on the field and it's called kids on the pitch. My understanding is if you say the word field in the UK, that's a place where like the sheep and goats hang out. Time to move on to the fourth key difference, and that's the term we use for out of bounds. In the UK, they call it in play and out of play. It's out of play. I guess it's time for a throw-in. In the US, we just call it out of bounds and inbounds. We use those same terms for basketball and football and for other sports. The fifth difference is the term that we use for the rankings of each team. In the UK, they say table. Here in the US, we say standings, but we also say table. Standings is a word that goes across all sports in the US. The sixth key difference is the name of each competition. I understand in the UK they use the word match. In the US, we say game, and that refers to all sports in the US, like baseball game, hockey game, or even a football game. Or do you want to go to a soccer match? I meant to say football game. I mean football match. I'm starting to get confused. The seventh difference is the name of the position that protects the goal. UK, I'm pretty sure they almost always call it the keeper, which is short for goalkeeper. Here in the US, we say keeper, goalkeeper, and we also say goalie. The word goalie is especially prevalent in youth leagues. The eighth key difference is what we call our uniforms and equipment. In the UK, everything that you wear to a game is called a kit. In the US, we call it a uniform. People in the US that play club level will still call it a kit. The next piece of equipment that we're going to talk about are these. And these protect your shins. In the UK, they're called shin pads. In the US, they're called shin guards. Maybe in the UK, because they're called shin pads, they're extra padded. Maybe they look like this. They're like double, maybe 3 times as thick. You definitely got to protect your shins. While my leg is up here, do you think I should be called Harry Maguire or Harry Duder's David? Another equipment difference is what we call these guys. In the US, we only call these socks. In the UK, you guys call them socks and stockings. If you say the word stocking in the US, you're referring to a giant bag that's shaped as a sock that people get Christmas gifts in on Christmas. Number 9 is the name for the coach or manager. In the UK and probably most of Europe, they call whoever's coaching the team the manager. In the US, across most sports, it's just called a coach. Except for baseball, it's called a manager. In the US, the term manager is more of a business position that won't be training players. The 10th and final key difference is the path to pro. I'm going to let my dad explain this one because the path to pro in the US is a little bit complex.
In the UK and most of Europe, the really elite players become part of an academy, and these academies are usually paid for, pretty much always paid for by the club themselves, whether it's Real Madrid or some English club like Manchester United. Now, in the US, there's a couple different paths. You've got, once you leave rec soccer, there's clubs soccer, and there's different levels of club, but you pay out of pocket for that. If you get really good up to one of those high levels, then you might get into an academy, and there are some MLS academies, but you could also go the high school route. You could play club and high school. Some people do either or in hopes to get into Division 3, 2, or 1 university, because playing in college in the US is one of those stepping stones that a lot of people use to try and get to the professional level. And those who are really good, though, can skip playing in college and go straight from club to a professional team, perhaps. So it's not this clear path like Europe, where it's like, okay, academy, like Messi, he went to the Barcelona Academy when he's 12 years old. He stayed at Barcelona until he's 32 years old. That's 20 years with the same club. In the US, you would play for so many different clubs as you moved up levels, finding what's right for you, where it's going to open the doors. I need to be at the highest level club. Do I need an academy? Am I going to play college? Am I good enough to go straight to the pros? So there's just a lot of different paths. Let me know in the comments if you think I accurately described the path to pro in the UK. One other thing I was going to talk about was the residence academies. A lot of those in Europe, of the elite ones, are probably even residency academies. There are some residency academies where the teenagers live there, here in the US as well. In fact, there's one in San Diego starting in 2025 alongside the new MLS team. So that's pretty cool.
Before we finish, I want to tell you guys about this jersey. This jersey is from a German club, and see that signature right there? That's from the announcer of the team. He signed it and sent it to me, so.
Yeah, the zebras are pretty cool.
Now, just to confuse all you guys from England, oh, kids, you're about to be late to soccer practice. Grab your cleats and get in the minivan. We're going to head over to the field. Now, in the UK, it would sound something more like this. Guys, grab your boots. We have to head on down to the pitch so we're not late to the match. The manager will be mad because we're going to lose the match and go down in the table. In the end, it's the same sport. The main difference is just the terminology. And if you're still mad after this video, then you're probably from the UK. Thanks for watching. Bye.